G'day mate and welcome to Ixion with me, Jitty. Now I'm sure you're watching this video because you really wish Ixion had some sort of toggle, some sort of switch you could tick on just to play it on a slightly easier mode, because I'm sure your last playthrough ended the same way mine did, where somebody brought in ice to the cargo depot and then they were moving it to a storage and then they slipped over on the wet floor and hurt their ankle and had a little bit of an injury, which then caused the ice not to arrive to the fusion plant, which then caused the tank of water to empty, which then caused the crop farms to not produce any food, which then caused starvation at the mess hall, which then caused a strike at the steel mill, which then meant the EVA crew didn't have any steel to actually repair the hull, and that was the end of the playthrough, right? Your playthrough ended the same way mine did. Well, the good news is there is an easy mode. There is an easy mode. There is a way to toggle the switch, and all you've got to do is follow my wonderful instructions. But I'm going to start off with my instructions with, can I borrow a like? Yep, I'd like to borrow a like early in the video, and that's going to be your first test. Can you follow that instruction? Because I'm going to remind you later on, if you're not happy with the video, I'll remind you can have your like back, but for the moment, I'd like to borrow it, because the very first step one of our easy mode toggle is we need to click this button here. Yeah, you're going to start a brand new game. So we're going to get that started. Now, with the new game started, we've got a fresh slate, which means we can choose to trigger the events we want to trigger and not trigger the events we don't want to trigger, because Ixion is a game of events. Also, it means that because we've played through the early game once already, I assume by now you could skip a lot of the dialogue. Now, at the same time, I am going to assume you've already seen the my video on the perfect layout for Sector 1. I really hope you have by now. If not, I'll link it up the top right-hand corner, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're putting in the bare bones right now to, well, get our first sector up and running. I need to put in a road there, that road there, a couple of tiles in there, bring that into there and hook that into there, but more importantly, get this road through to here to these storages so we can set up these storages. We're going to set up you to be food so we can collect that food. We're going to set you to be steel so I can collect that steel, that steel. I'm going to set you to be steel. I'm going to set you to be polymer so we can collect all the polymer in just a second. We want to collect all this steel because it's in our way, and as soon as we can get the polymer built, we'll collect all the polymer. Now, like I said, you know, event-based game, so events are going to happen all the time, and it's up to us to, well, pick and choose the events that we wish to deal with. One of the first events that's going to pop up is communal dining, that really acts like access to a mess hall, which we're going to oblige and we're going to build. Under food, we have a mess hall, which would go right here. Now I'm going to pause the game so I can place that down, complete that event, make them happy. Also going to pause it. I don't want to actually build the mess hall, because the mess hall is going to trigger an event that I'd prefer not to have triggered just yet. I am going to plan for the future and build in our 2 ships. That way, as soon as the polymer is picked up and transported to here, it can be transported back to here and get the ships built. As soon as these steels are out of the way, we can then put in the next important building, the one that we really want to get an advantage out of, which is the tech lab, because I'd like to start with a lot of bonus tech, because we want to play an easy mode, as easy an easy mode as we can possibly easy our easy mode into. So we're going to put in the factories, a tech lab right there, which, as the builder has nothing to build, that's going to be their main priority. At the same time, we're going to handle our population, which will be house, 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 more house, house, house. Just in case you're curious, we're putting in some houses right about here. That does all of them, I think. We're going to collect that one. Also that, and that, because these are, oh, no, this one and this one. Yep, they're in my way first. So this is our high priority. We want to have the tech lab running. Also, I want the spaceship running because we want to, well, start the events on the world map. We'd like to get some bonus research, and that's one of the big things that are on the world map. A whole lot of bonus research to get us started. In fact, there's enough research on the first map to finish everything in the prologue, which is what we'd really like to get done. With that, I'm going to take our little ship over there to the moon, and we can start the first event. Now, like I said, everything is event-based, so we're going to, doesn't matter really what choice we go for, but we're going to do that one. Now, in the tech tree, we have access to the prologue tech. So that is the EVA airlocks. Yep, we need that. Also the probe launcher, we need that in the queue, and also the insect farm. Once we've done that, we've basically finished with the prologue research, which we're going to finish fairly quickly because the spaceship has already completed the first event. Yep. Then when we dismantle the base, which is going to take 2 cycles, we're going to get another 90 research. And then we're essentially done on the world map. The only thing we need to do is we do need to set up our little ship here, our little cargo ship, to bring in the extra food that we've been offered. Also, we're going to be offered some extra population shortly as part of another event. Like I said, everything is event-based. We're going to drop that in there. Space, we're going to Where are we up to with that research? Oh, it's just finished. No, it hasn't even started. Hasn't even started. Perfect. Completed its action. Okay, so if we click this, we now have 90 odd research that we can collect, which means I just need the lab to process through the research. So I'll see you in a sec when the lab's done. Okay, so science is done. We've got our 2 EVA airlocks and our probe launcher. We're now going to do the insect farm, and then we're going to go into science really quickly and throw in the airlock over there. And then as soon as this is cleaned up, we will put in the probe launcher down here. With those few things done, we're pretty much, well, we're ready to go into the next event. And the next event is going to be, Dear Administrator, you ran out of power. That's bad. People like power, it turns out. And we would really like you to make some solar panels, which we will happily go do. And then we can put down, well, we can probably put down the probe launcher at the same time, even though it needs more power, and we won't have any power. Also, we'll notice that the tech lab is currently going through a waste cycle, which is unfortunate and is going to cost us some time in the long run, but that's okay. Meanwhile, our science ship has done all the events of the moon. It's up to you. You can go do Mars, you can go do Saturn, you can go do the secret event, that I'm not going to go spoil, but if you're curious, you can go look at my Let's Play, which has more details on, well, exactly what that event was. We're going to put the probe launcher down there. We're going to currently go through the event of you don't have enough power, which means we need to turn some things off to have enough power, which now means, yeah, come on. Close that. Yeah, close transmission. Choices. Build some solar panels. Great. We're going to go in here. We're going to go solar panels, yes. And solar panels, yes. And we're going to turn you off, because as soon as you power up, we wouldn't have enough power to run the thing to make the solar panels. I need to turn you on. Let's turn off our house and turn you on so we can just... We're running at power 0. Everything's perfect. Actually, we can even power off the food stockpile, because the mess hall's not built. We don't need that just yet. We can also collect some of the last resources on the map. We'll collect these in our own good time. There's no particular rush. And that's our solar panels done, which means everybody's happy, and we can press the tab menu to bring that back up and turn things off. Now, our tech lab is going through the last research. The last research is part of the prologue, which is the fact that we're going to be getting the insect farm so we can actually feed our population. The thing is, we haven't built a mess hall yet, so we don't need to have extra food. Yes. We also generally at this point have hit into a situation where, I'm going to pause, we've gone to a non-optimal working conditions. In theory, if we've built all the things that we're asked to be built, we'd definitely be in that situation. Actually, if I put in a single insect farm, 2 of them, there we go, extra hours. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the extra hours. Now, extra hours, not this time around, but the time after this triggers a new event. It triggers a new event that somebody has a boo-boo and somebody has an accident, and from that point on, you need to deal with accidents. So, from this point of the game onwards, we're going to be very, very, very cautious, and we're going to make sure that we never trigger the extra hours condition. We need to make sure that we always have enough workers to keep up with everything and never have a situation where they need to overwork. And we can do that by just turning machines on and off where required to make sure that we have enough people to cover all the jobs that we want done. We'll put in 3 more of those, which I'll also turn off. And the Wallow is going to bring in some new people, and now we have 99. Perfect. With 99, technically I can run this, and I still have... no, I'm going to be 1 person short. We're going to turn off... well, I don't need a probe launcher. Yeah. So I now have... 91 workers are required for the sector, and I have 99 available. So I could even turn on 1 more insect farm. Now, the insect farms are going to be very useful for us because they'll make food. That's about it, because we're sort of in a holding pattern. Nothing's really happening in the game. Nothing's going to happen in the game where we can sit here for potentially forever, which is essentially what I want you to do. I want you from this point to look at the tech lab, and we can see that we've unlocked everything into tier 2, which is normally where you can at least start looking at some of the future tech that you're going to need for the next sector. And you can unlock about another 25 science points before you head into the next sector and well start dealing with the exploding of the moon, etc. But we can also just sit right here, because technically the tech lab produces 1 science every 30 cycles. So we're going to sit right here for just 1 minute. Yep, just a little while. The only thing I want you to do, and this is going to be very important, very, very important, is Well, I want you to do two things. It's two things. Like I said, you're going to have to listen to the directions, and we're going to have to follow the directions very, very carefully. Is I want you to click this button here. Very fast time speed. That's going to be very, very important. And then the second thing you need to do is you need to get up and you need to walk away from the PC. Or what I always recommend that you just open up YouTube, and, you know, I've got a lovely playlist link down in the description, and also in the first pinned comment below. It is my playlist for my current Let's Play, and you can start watching that whilst you wait, because it's going to take a little while. You make 1 science every 30 cycles, which means anything that requires 30 science, like, well, 45, 45, 45. Well, 45 is a little bit longer, but if 1 science is, if you were doing a science that is 30, like the previous ones, the mess hall, the insect farm, and you make 1 science every 30 cycles, you need to pass 300 cycles to finish a research. So I'm going to just leave the game here just at very fast speed for just a minute or two, and I'll see you guys after a quick cut after we've gone forward in time. Just a tiny bit. Yeah, a tiny itsy bitsy bit. Oh, you're back, are you? Well, the good news is the cryogenic center's done. The steel mill, not quite. We're getting there slowly. We're only on sector cycle 783. Just give me 1 more second. We'll just look forward in time just a little bit. Oh, you're back again, because it's been twice as long. We're now in cycle 1500. The good news is I now know the game definitely says Happy New Year every single New Year. We've gone past 4 years just sitting here waiting for research to happen, which is happening. It's happening very slowly. I'll see you in another couple of cycles. We're getting close. We've got the steel mill done. We're halfway through tier 1 batteries. Yep, it's now cycle 3000. I tell you what, why don't you go have a nap, or maybe I'll go have a nap, and then we'll see where we're up to in the morning. Yeah, I did say you needed to go AFK for about 24 hours. Oh, you're finally back. I was waiting a little while for you. So the good news is all the research is done. We can't quite unlock tier 2 because you need a memorial, and to have a memorial, you need to blow up a moon. At least that's my understanding. The good news is we're ready to progress. So the next thing we need to make sure that we stay on top of is we need to have workplace safety. Workplace safety is going to be our highest goal throughout this playthrough. So we need to, well, throughout this this easy mode. Playthrough is probably the wrong word, because yeah, it's going to take a little while to get this done. So don't ask how long I've been at this already. So we need to make sure that workplace safety is #1 goal. We also need to finally build the mess hall. So we're going to build that, and we're going to have an incoming message, and yep, and then more incoming messages, and more incoming messages with some messages. Yep, we could now go construct the Volvo engine, which we'll go do. We'll just pop out to the outside and throw an engine on the back. Yep, I've also popped over and gone to the unauthorized access. Need to check that out just to make sure it was, you know, definitely unauthorized. But we need to make sure we stay at optimal conditions. So I have 5 available workers. One of these needs 5, so I can turn this on. This needs 8 workers. I can't turn this on without turning something else off. So I'll give you a hint right now. If you press the tab button, you can bring up the power overlay, and you can turn things on and off easily. We obviously don't want anything that's unbuilt to be turned on by mistake, because that would be bad. Also, we've fed 99 out of 100. We just need 1 person to go have a snack. We also need Shippy. No, Shippy's already picked up people. There we go. Transmission. Yeah, okay. Close transmission. Okay. We're now picking up people. All right. Which means we do need to feed them. So we're going to have some more workers come on the boat. Right? Wrong button. Workers. Can I get the... Well, you've already picked up the food. Workers next, please. I want the workers. Also, we can probably fire up the engine and fly over to here. Yeah, it's a very long way away. It won't take too long. We can also continue skipping our cutscenes, because we don't need to see the cutscenes. The fact that we don't have power is okay, because the chance of falling in a food cycle is pretty slim. But even then, that just affects their happiness, and we don't care whether they're happy or not, just that they don't have any accidents. Now we have the extra workers, we can turn on these guys, which means we should, after they run for a cycle, be at a 1 for 1, I think. Oh, I need 2 more. We have plenty of workers. Yep, sure, turn those 2 on as well. 126 out of 179. We're good. We're glad. We have plenty of food. 111%. We're good to go. So with that done, we can have the transmission. We can skip this dialogue and skip this dialogue, and we can go out here. We can fire up the engine and move on to the next sector. Now we've moved on to the next sector, it means that, well, we get much dialogue, yep. Also means that, more importantly, our tech lab has opened up. We can now get memorials. Now, memorials is only 45 research. It's going to take us a minute or two to get there using the old method. But now that we're in a new sector, we have new events, which we can, yeah, send something to Earth, and Dolos has many enemies, and Tiqqun has had an overload because we didn't have any batteries, even though we have the battery tech, which we shouldn't really have at this stage. We probably should do something about batteries. But we can now send our science ship over to Earth very quickly, and we can access, well, everything on Earth. Also, we can send out a probe to, you know, finish off, well, let's just send one to Mercury. Okay, Earth, yep, investigate the headquarters. That'll give us some science. Once we get some science, we can run the science through the tech lab. Once we run the science through the tech lab, we can unlock our memorials. Once we've unlocked memorials, we've actually finished tier 2 science completely. With that done, it means we can start doing these upgrades. So an upgrade that I really, really recommend you get, and you don't normally get till a lot later in this sector if you're really lucky, is the assistant promotion, which means rather than making one science every 30 cycles, you now make 3 sciences every 5 cycles, which is a massive difference. Yep, done. Yep, 45 science. Gonna close that so I actually get the 45 science so we can finish up this. Yep. Now, with memorials now done, yep, new upgrades are available to research. That's the one we're looking for, because it now means we can come in here and we can grab this very important research right here. There's other important researches we want, but that's the very first one. We now can work our way through, well, important research in here and then on to our tier 3 research. So with that done, I think I need to jump forward in time again. I think we should look at, not right now at cycle 8000, I think we should jump forward to a little bit further into the game so we can continue playing on easy mode. Welcome back. We're still in the same chapter. It might have been 2000 cycles because we have a few advantages when it comes to science. We've finished out tier 3. We've also done a few other odd items of research, like the tech lab is fully upgraded, which now means the tech lab itself makes 5 science every 3 cycles. Also, on top of that, the science ship itself makes 5% extra science from every exploration site because we got the advanced analytics with the disrupted study protocols for an extra 5% on top of that to give us 10%, with a dedicated PA for the science ship, which means 15% total extra science from every single event. This is a very good research to get, along with the one in the tech lab, but we'd normally get it much later than, well, we're at the end of chapter 2. Yeah, it's 2000 cycles, but you know, it's all right. At the same time, because we have a few advantages when it comes to science, we also have plus 10, 20, 30% extra resources from every single mining ship. Plus, we haven't done anything about the cargo ships. We just made lots of them. We've also cut down on the amount of materials that go into, well, purifying and smelting the raw resources into final resources. So that's been a small advantage as well. Also a couple of upgrades for the crew quarters and, you know, cryogenics. And there's been a couple of upgrades here and there because, well, we have the science. We have a lot of science. Science is pretty easy at this stage. Also because we're keeping everybody in optimal working conditions, we're accident free. There are no accidents on this ship ever. Small amount of, you know, not housing the people, but that's okay. We're in the middle of a defrost cycle. It's perfectly fine. We should jump forward. We jump 1500 cycles in the future. Let's check a little bit further in the future. So another little jump forward in time, only a couple of 100 cycles this time, and we're now in chapter 3, working our way through chapter 3, which has a substantial amount of resources considering our upgrades. Also our ship, well, our ship's pretty dry on some resources currently, but others like iron we're pretty good on. At the same time, well, research wise, we've finished off Tech 3 entirely. Also, you'll notice the science ship has even more upgrades. The mining ship has, well, about the same. Cargo ship now actually has some upgrades. We've got large stockpiles. We've got better, more efficient solar panels. We've got the train station. Train station's fully unlocked. Yeah, research is not really a problem, and we've still got a lot of research to grab in this particular sector before we move on. At the same time, because of the sheer amount of resources we can get, we're not in any rush. We have all the time in the world to go and collect all the resources we want, to smelt all the resources we want, convert all the resources we want, and just to make my point, we're gonna make one more jump. I think this was only a couple of hundred cycles. Let's do a good jump. Let's go with a couple of thousand cycles this time. So we've jumped forward in time a little bit, another 4,000 cycles or so, and we're now actually in the 4th chapter. Yeah, we spent 4,000 cycles between last chapter and this chapter. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to reveal too much about the map because that would ruin a lot of the fun. But we do have some amount of resources. We've only been here for a little while. We need to probe a little bit. We also have, a fully decked out ship with all 6 sectors unlocked. And 5,000 people. Yeah, we found a few popsicles along the way, and we defrosted a few peepsicles. At the same time, let's go population management. We have, because we've been making sure we're staying on top of optimal working conditions at all times, we haven't lost anybody. We don't have any infirmaries. Actually, we did put in one of these sectors. Did put in a healthcare center. Wondering whether it gave some sort of sector-wide bonus, ship-wide bonus to happiness. It turns out it doesn't. Speaking of happiness, we're pretty happy. +7. Can't argue with +7. Because research-wise, nothing holds us back. We actually have 999 research points. It's a chore to come in here and research things because they take time, and you can only queue 2 things at once. So we queue 2 things and then probably forget about it. Meanwhile, the science keeps going up and up and up and up. Yeah, but science is not really an issue. In fact, I'm pretty sure at 1,000+ research we could unlock anything. For those of you curious, yes, you can go over 1,000 research. Turns out I had to go look at the game files to confirm. Yeah, I think there's about 1,300 research points up there. But this is how to play on easy mode. Easy mode. Don't have any accidents, and AFK for the first 24 hours. That's really how you get through easy mode. It is a little bit of a slower playthrough in my opinion, but it definitely can be done, and it means that, well, especially as the ship is set up now, we're looking at the waste sector because it's a very important sector because it produces, well, technically, it produces all the water for all our crops, so everybody's fed off trash. It also provides all the steel for all the hull repair. It also provides all our polymer and all our silicon. The only thing we're still dependent on mining is hydrogen for extra power. Yeah, because we've maxed out the solar panels. They're absolutely maxed out. There's no way to get more power. We just need to actually science. Yep, there's no way to get more power. The solar panels are fully maxed out. The only way to get more power was the nuclear power plant, which fuel workers power costs reduced by 10. Yeah, it costs you power to run a nuclear power plant. It's not taking the equation. But I think this is a good time for me to say, remember that like that I asked whether I could borrow right back at the start of the video? Maybe now it's a good time for me to remind you that, you know, I'd really like to keep it. Really like to keep it because this video took a little while to put together. At the same time, I really need to thank Kaz and also Sydney for helping me put this video together. Both Sydney for learning that you could AFK for 24 hours to get all the early research done, and also Kaz for pointing out that if you keep the ship accident free, you only lose, well, potentially 0, except during one of his science missions, some of the scientists went into a special event and never came back, and they are his only losses for his playthrough, which is amazing and also scary at the same time. I will link, of course, to Kaz down in the description below because he's another wonderful content creator who's been streaming this regularly as I have over at Twitch. At the same time, I'll remind you guys, if you want to hit the subscribe button, I'd definitely appreciate it. We're going to be doing less ridiculous tutorials in the not too distant future. We've already got a couple, but there are more to come out, many more to come out for Ixion, because I'm really enjoying this game, but it's a little bit of a game that you need to think your way through, hence tutorial videos are often encouraged. Anyway, with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the very next video. All right, bye.